All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Today we're going to be talking about 5 ways to survive renewal season, which we know is coming right up with the end of the year and the end of January. So thanks for joining today. Just to introduce myself, my name is Marie Bauer. I'm a SaaS services manager here at Zylo. So I work with our customers to help them negotiate their renewals as well as new purchases and manage their subscriptions within Zylo.
Hi, I'm Tory Kaigan-Kuykendall. I'm also a SaaS services manager here at Zylo. I love helping process improvement and just streamline the way that our customers are purchasing SaaS so it's easy and simple for them.
Great. And we're really happy you joined us today. We're going to be talking about the importance of renewals and then jump into some of our survival tips, including starting renewals early, tracking your renewals within Zylo, how to understand the usage and needs of the tools that you're renewing, how to avoid automatic renewals, and creating a negotiation action plan. So as you have questions that come up, feel free and submit them into the chat today. We have a lot of content to cover in a short amount of time. So as you have a question pop up, please go ahead and submit it in the chat. We're going to answer as many of those as we can during the session. And then afterwards, if we did not get to everyone's questions, we're going to be following up after SaaSme as well. All right, so to kind of set the stage, I wanted to talk a little bit about why renewals are important. They're part of the ongoing SaaS management program and basically follow this maturity model of organizations adopting a SaaS management program. So this is something that Tory discussed extensively in one of these sessions in regards to the maturity model of implementing, organizing, optimizing, and orchestrating your SaaS management program. And renewals are a critical point of optimization because this is the chance for you to go in and negotiate your contract and make some corrections and get some savings. So you'll see in this bullet list here, this is the chance for you to actually right size your licenses. You can review your subscription stack for redundancies and similar tools that you already have. Maybe see if there's the chance to cancel this tool that you're using and save some money that way. You have the chance to benchmark your proposal and your current pricing and see how it compares to the market, and then actually negotiate the contract yourself. So look for savings opportunities and lock that pricing in for the rest of the term for your upcoming renewal. So with that said, we know that renewals are very important. However, there are hundreds of renewals and it's total chaos, especially coming up to the end of the year. A lot of SaaS vendors out there, they're trying to meet their quotas, their goals at the end of December, as well as at the end of January. And you are trying to manage all of these renewals. We found on average our customers are trying to manage 323 renewals every year. Each of these renewals may take up to 8 hours of your time. So it is total chaos. Along with this, these numbers keep growing. So the SaaS landscape is growing, and we find that a lot of our clients are adding up to 8 new subscriptions every 30 days. So we know this is chaos and we're here to help you. We want to make sure that you have all the tips that you need and all the tools that you need to manage these renewals without going completely insane. And of course, since you're surviving, get ready for heavy Survivor themes. We're leaning in hard. So get ready for that as well. We hope you watch Survivor and enjoy it. So yeah, go ahead, Tory.
Awesome. Thanks, Marie. So I think one of the most critical tips throughout this whole session is starting renewals early. Get everyone ready, get everyone on board, because let's tackle all those hundreds of renewals, and having the time will be critical for you. Often when we are starting a renewal, we strive to start 120 days out from that renewal start date. This gives us time to really utilize Zylo to the best of our ability to understand so many key items for that renewal. So it helps us give time to ensure there's no redundant apps, right? Is the functionality of this app renewing similar to another one? Do we need it? Is it critical? Those kinds of questions. You can benchmark popular apps. So, along with price benchmarking, the benchmarking tool lets you benchmark that application with others in the market and see who's liking this. Is this the top application, or is there a better application for your company size and functionality that would help you, have more bang for your buck? Also, understanding usage and sentiment, really understanding who's using it and their thoughts on the application helps you have a data-driven decision, right? And helps you understand who's using it, what they want, and if it is the app for them. Also, having more time gives you the opportunity to go to the market and get more competitive quotes. The original quote you receive may not be the best one out there, and a good strategy is having competitors. So you can go back to your competitor and say, hey, we're getting a better quote here. What can you do? All of these things and utilizing Zylo helps you have a more data-driven, informed decision when you're going into your renewal. So you really know all the things you need to know going in and being able to be really happy with your renewal at that renewal date.
Great. So you're starting your renewals early, 120 days out. It's really important to keep track of these renewals and keep them all straight. So of course, renewals are a roller coaster. You want to give visibility to your team and across the org as to where all these renewals stand and what you're working on. So the best way to do that, we recommend, is actually using Zylo's custom fields to track your renewals right within the tool. So any Zylo administrator can actually navigate to the admin section of the tool, navigate to your app fields, and you can add as many custom fields are needed, which can be applied to your subscriptions. And the type of fields that you want to add and what you want to track may be different from company to company, but here are a few examples to help get you started. So for renewals, you might want to actually keep track of the status, whether you're keeping that tool, maybe you want to cancel it or you're reviewing it. So that'll help you keep track of, again, looking at those redundant apps. If you want to cancel this one, go ahead and label that and keep track of it. What type of negotiation are you working on? So is this a renewal? Maybe it's an add-on to an existing contract, a new purchase, downgrade, upgrade, whatever you want to track, go ahead and add that as a field with a drop down. Negotiation stage. So is this renewal, are you reviewing it with stakeholders currently? Are you negotiating with the vendor? Maybe you're getting approvals or redlining. Maybe it's blocked. So add all those stages into the field. Have you received the quote yet? Yes or no? So that is just nice straight visibility as to where it stands. What is the target execution date or renewal date? And then finally, if you've decided to cancel, what is the date that you actually canceled the app and you notified the vendor and you got that confirmation back from the vendor? Now, once you have those fields set up, you can look at your Zylo insights at renewals on the horizon and go ahead and start filling out those fields for all of the renewals you're working on. And then we recommend creating a saved filter for renewal report. So as soon as you navigate into subscription, every day you can pull up that renewal report, update it, and give your team and the org visibility into where all these renewals currently stand.
Awesome. Thanks, Marie. So the next big tip for survival is understanding your usage and the needs of your organization. So reaching out to your team, seeing their thoughts on the app. Do they actually like it or not? Really critical here. One piece that you can use Zylo for is understanding user sentiment. So within Zylo, in the application tab, you can go over to the sentiments tab and send out a sentiments survey to all users. This sends out, as you see here, a little screenshot out of it, an email to all users and asks their thought on the current application and if they would recommend it to a colleague. That response gets submitted back to Zylo and you're able to have a response rate and really understand, are their users liking this application, or if they're not, that's where the Zylo benchmarks, where you look at applications, can show you, oh, there's actually better application within the stack that you can use for this instead. So this is really important, just understanding your users and their thoughts on the app before you're even considering renewing it. Then from here, you can analyze usage data and metrics. So right here on the left-hand side, there's two screenshots of insights on the insights tab, user information that comes in. So it's showing that there's 8 users that are inactive. So this shows you areas where you can deprovision licenses from those who either aren't using it or have gone past the 91 plus activity date and maybe aren't using it as much as they originally thought they were. And then for applications like Zoom and Salesforce, there's a place where you can actually downgrade licenses. So going from a higher license type to a lower, this is showing that 19 users are able to downgrade. So that can save you some money from not having to use that maybe more expensive Salesforce license for your whole org. Then within the application, you can look at user metrics and see who's actually using it. Are most of the individuals using it, or is there a big chunk of individuals who haven't used it in 91 plus days or have never used it? Looking at this data is really helpful when you're trying to understand how many licenses you need to purchase in your upcoming renewal. You can then take this data and run a workflow via Zylo. So this lets you take either the downgradability or the deprovision stats and send a survey out to all users asking, hey, do you actually need this license? Can we take it away or downgrade you? And if you do need it, can you give us a reason why? That then all those responses get sent back into Zylo, and you can actually make decisions on downgrading or deprovisioning right from the application. This helps you have a really good idea of the number of licenses you need to purchase prior to the renewal date. So you're not over purchasing, you're actually right sizing for the amount you need for your organization and the user group.
Great. So at this point, you've started your renewals early, you have the information you need, but what if there's an automatic renewal? SaaS companies love throwing the automatic renewal clauses into the contract, and all of a sudden something renews without you even knowing. So let's talk about how to best manage those so that you can use your data and negotiate the contract as needed. So we have 2 recommendations. The first one is to simply remove that auto renewal clause as soon as you receive that contract. So the renewal is the time to do that. As you get that contract in, simply request to the vendor, please remove any auto renewal clauses from our terms and conditions, from the contract. Tory and I see tons of contracts all the time. We get this taken out even before we send it to legal to redline, because we know legal is going to immediately strike it out of the contract. If for some reason they won't remove that clause, or again, maybe you have it already in some of your contracts, go ahead and set up some alerts in Zylo based on your renewal dates. So you can track all of your contract end dates, of course, and your renewal dates, but you can also track which of these contracts have auto renewals included and what those notification requirements are. So if you need to cancel or make changes, is that going to be 30 days before the renewal, 60, 90? You can put all of that information into Zylo and then set up alerts that will send you an email. And that email will let you know when the renewal date is and what that auto renewal clause is, what that upcoming renewal notification requirement is. So go ahead and utilize these 2 tools, these 2 tactics to help manage your auto renewals. So let's talk about creating the negotiation action plan. So you have your information, you're armed, and you are ready to go in and discuss with the vendor what you want and what pricing targets maybe you want, any discounts. So it's good to know what levers you have to pull for negotiations and what strategies are out there so that you can come in with a plan. So the first thing we recommend is looking at what negotiation levers you have. And these are 3 common ones that give you leverage to get better pricing and discounting as you go into the renewal. The first lever includes whether you've increased your usage. So during the contract term, did your usage grow significantly? You added on headcount, or maybe as you go into the renewal, you know that you want to add in a certain amount of licenses. This should get you better unit pricing. So the more users, the better the price. So if you have that to your advantage, or if you can use that to your advantage, please do when you go into the negotiation. A multi-year contract, if you can commit for longer than a year, maybe commit for 2 or 3 years, the longer you're committed into this partnership with the vendor, the better the pricing, the more discounting they should provide. And definitely use that terminology, partnership. You're partnering with them and you believe that you deserve some additional discounting because of that partnership. And then finally, early signature. You should know when the vendor's end of quarter is, when their end of year is. Again, this is the heavy, chaotic time at the end of the year, end of fiscal years in December and January. So use that to your advantage. If you can work with the vendor earlier, get something signed before a certain end of quarter, end of year, they should be able to potentially give you some additional discounting. The vendor is trying to meet their own quotas, their own goals across the organization, and they might really need you to sign early. So definitely look into that as well. Some other negotiation strategies. So you may be able to pull some of those levers, you may not. Here are some other ways to work with the vendor to try and get the pricing down to the level that meets your budget. The first one is getting VP and C-level input. So let's say the vendor is not coming down in pricing, they're not meeting your requirements. See if you can pull in somebody that's a VP or at the C-level, pull them into an email, see if they can reply to an email to the vendor or jump onto a quick call. This can really put some pressure on the vendor, and then they know that this particular deal has visibility across your organization. Competition. So Tory mentioned this as well. Since you have now started the renewal 120 days out, super early, you should have time to go out and get additional pricing from competitors. Some of them you can even find online, Google, see what type of pricing is out there. And also shop around to resellers, see if some resellers will give you some quotes, and then take that to your vendor and see if they'll come down to that amount or beat the pricing that's out there. Networking feedback. So Tory also mentioned Zylo's benchmarking tool. So you can benchmark your proposal, see where it stands in the market, see if there's better pricing out there, and go back to the vendor and let them know, hey, I've been networking with same companies, similar companies that have contracts like this and that work with you. And we know that there's better pricing out there. So try and use that to your advantage. And then also ghosting. Vendor, maybe you've gone back and forth several times, they still won't come down and meet your requirements. Just stop responding to them. Stop responding for 2-3 weeks, again, if you have the time. And then the vendor is going to start getting nervous. They have their own quotas, their own goals that they're trying to meet. If you stop responding, they might go back to their manager, try and get closer to your requirements so that when you do start responding again, they may be more willing to work with you on cost.
Awesome. So some other strategies that you can follow here. Oftentimes, as we've seen, looking at usage data, you may not be increasing usage. So with that, often suppliers will try to increase your unit price, stating that there's a decrease clause, right? That you need to get increased by 5%. We stress that you should push for a flat renewal. Say, although that we are decreasing or right-sizing the license amount, we want to keep our unit price the same as it previously was. This is a way to still lower costs while decreasing and not lose some of those savings that you've had from decreasing by the increased unit price. We also have seen success in asking suppliers if they'll think about having people or customers in their marketing materials. Often, suppliers want to show customer feedback. They want to put out there in their marketing materials stories about users that have had success and show logos connected to that. So we stress asking suppliers if they'll include you in their marketing materials and put that as a way to get an additional discount. At the end of the day, if neither of those tactics work along with Marie's, you can ask for a value add concession. So maybe they aren't in on some discounting, but will they throw in a free month, one free month if we sign, by this date? Or will you throw in a few licenses free if we're able to sign very quickly? Kind of using some of these strategies. You can also use multiple at once, as you've seen here. They're not all one-offs. Pulling those levers, thinking about strategies, and having time to do so, often we've found leads to a lot of success and a lot of additional savings for our customers.
Absolutely. So we have a few more slides. We just want to talk quickly, wrap it up and talk about some key takeaways. So start your renewals early, 90 to 120 days in advance. So for this kind of crazy end of year season coming up, that means start doing it now. As soon as this webinar is over, go start sending emails, start working with your stakeholders, and to start tackling these renewals early. Track your renewals using custom fields in Zylo. So again, help keep yourself on track and give everyone visibility into where these renewals currently stand. Create a renewal calendar with alerts. So utilize those alerts in Zylo so that you stay on top of auto renewals as well as the renewals coming up. Use Zylo data and benchmarking to make informed decisions. So the sentiment survey, the usage information, downgrading using license workflows, and using our benchmarking tools. This is all at your fingertips and can help you make better informed decisions when you're getting into the renewals. And then finally, have a negotiation action plan for each renewal. So as you're going to those vendors, know the levers that you can pull and know what strategies you're going to utilize.
Awesome. Thanks, Marie. Also, just one thing we want to highlight is that we here at Zylo have a SaaS negotiator service where someone on Marie and I's team actually works alongside or within your organization and handles all your SaaS management and SaaS negotiations. So as Marie previously stated, on average, companies have 323 SaaS renewals a year. And we've seen that they take on average about 8 hours. That's 258 hours or 2,584 hours of renewals that your team has to manage. So let us take that off your plate. Often we found that we've saved over 6 times the original ROI by purchasing the service for our customers. And we don't just handle renewals. We'll handle any new purchases, add-ons throughout the contract life cycle, and really help you and your team have peace of mind knowing that someone with a large wealth of experience working with SaaS suppliers is handling your renewals. We're making sure those auto renewals aren't hitting, and we're also getting you additional savings that you or your team may not have been able to get because of the time that these took. So feel free to reach out to our team if you're interested in this, or if you have more questions on how it works, reach out and ask because we're happy to answer any questions, but we're also happy to jump into your company and help you right away. Awesome.
Well, yeah, thanks everyone for joining. We hope you take these renewal tips and you survive the renewal season. But from Tory and I and everyone at Zylo, thank you for joining us for this SaaS Me session.